Hey, hello, my name is Aaron Colvin. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my plan to become rich over the next 10 years. Now, real quick disclaimer, I don't have a Ferrari. I don't have $1 million in the bank. But what I do have is a really solid plan that I've been taking action on every year. What I'm telling you is not guaranteed to work. What I'm going to say is, over the past 2 years now, I've been able to double my income every single year. And I'm going to go on this path for a long time. And the reason for that is because the thing I've been doing now, and I'll be sharing that with you today. So guys, there's two paths the way I see it. You have option A and option B. I'm gonna share with you option A because it's the path that anyone can do and they will become financially free. And then there's option B, which is unconventional, but you're gonna get results way faster. I do a combination of both, but eventually I might go all into one. So today I'm just gonna share with you guys what I've been doing, okay? So the way I see it is, you have option A. This is the formal route, and by far I think probably the route that's best for most people, especially if you have a low risk tolerance. So option A would be, while you're in school, or assuming you already graduated, would just be this. That's a terrible thing, but this is the school, okay? So you go to school, right? So while you're in school, you want to work a job. I know, crazy, right? So you work a job, and then from there, you just work like 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week is absolutely nothing, but if you're making minimum wage, that's a decent chunk of change. I gotta get my calculator. So you want to work a job. So in New York State, the average minimum wage is $15 an hour. So if you were just 20 hours a week as a student, you're making $300 a week. Now from here, assuming you live with your parents, and assuming you don't have any bills, you want to invest all of this money. $300 if you're like, a freshman, well, when you get your first job, I think you're like you're 16. So if you were to just do that, so make $300, and you do that while you're in school, times 4, you're making $1,200 a month. By the end of the year, you're making about $14,000. If you could invest just $10,000 at the age of 16, you are already ahead of the majority of everybody. But I'm gonna assume that you're not that age, so I'm just gonna completely take this off the table. But if you still are in high school, this is what you need to start doing right now. If you can work more, even better. So literally, get a job at Target, some retail store. Just start making money and start investing it immediately. No matter what, and always invest at least 50% of your income, especially if you have no bills. The more bills you have, obviously, the harder it is. So, but going back to the traditional path, I'm just gonna lay it out right now so you guys can stop watching if you want, but I'm gonna go into more detail. So you go from school to college, so just a bigger school. You then go to a career, and then from here, you then take your money that's from the career and you invest it into the markets. So literally, this is all you do. You do this for we'll just say 10 years, okay? The average person with a degree, I don't care what you say, because I hear all the time, kids are like, man, as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna be making $100,000 a year. If you do, that's great, but the reality is, most people do not ever make that amount of money, even with a college degree. So you'd be better off setting the bar too realistic than, too high. So assuming you graduate from college, and assuming you continue to work, so as long as you continue to work while you're in college, assuming you gotta pay your debt. Okay, we're gonna say this is something every person can do. You work 20 hours a week while you're in college. So you work 20 hours a week while you're in college, making minimum wage. The average person spends about 30 hours in class, probably 20 hours in class, 30 hours doing homework if you're a really good student. So you're spending no more than 50 hours a week on school. That gives you more than enough free time to put into working. So I'm gonna assume that you got debt. So we're gonna say, okay, you live off half of your income. So you still make this amount. So you make about $15,000 a year, and then we times that by 4, because for 4 years. And then we're gonna divide that, because you end up making $60,000 just by working for 4 years while you're in college. But we're gonna divide that by 2 because you put 50% of your money into college, right? So that leaves you with 30K. You have 30K to pay for expenses. I understand in college, you have more bills. So even if you were to invest only half of that, you still have an additional $15,000 in the markets, and that's not even including compound growth. So if you started working by the time you were, we'll just say senior year. So senior year, you have 15,000 from working here, because at this time you live with your parents, they pay for everything. You have $15,000 in the market for working for you as a senior in high school. Then you go to college. By the time you get out, you make about 15,000 per year, but now you have expenses, so you're left down with 15,000 after 4 years because you have more bills. So at this point, you now have $30,000 in the market. Guys, that's insane growth if we're talking about compound interest. But I'm gonna talk about where to put your money in a different video. But just from here, option A, go from school, work, college, just invest. You can do something very realistic. Like just try to invest 20% of every paycheck you get. If you were to just work in college, every single time you get a paycheck, you invest at least 20%, you're already ahead of the majority of Americans. And then my friend, this is where the real money is made. You, after going to college for 4 years, you then graduate, you're making about $50,000 a year here. So with the $50,000 per year salary, you want to live on half of your income and invest the other half. I'm gonna show you how crazy this is. Just think about it. You're making $50,000 a year. I'm gonna run some quick numbers with you guys. So the average house, the rent in America, it depends on where you live. But like where I live, rent is like $900 a month. I know in some places of the country it's $4,000 a month. But it really doesn't matter how much it is, because you're making $50,000 a year and you're living off half of your income. So that leaves you $25,000 to do whatever you want. Assuming you're a single man, or like a single woman, you don't have to pay for anything other than yourself. Okay, so as a person who takes care of myself, I spend no more than $100 a week on food. Times that by 4, I'm spending $400 a month. So I'm spending $400 per month just on food. So $400 a month on food, and then, so 400 times 12, that's no more than $5,000 by the end of the year. I'm spending $5,000 a year on food. That leaves me with $20K to pay for housing and car. And then, insurance, we'll just say a car, right? We're just gonna average out $500 for your car times 12. Okay, now we're at another 6,000. That leaves us with what? 14,000? So after food, car, I'm now at 14,000, right? Then, we're gonna say my rent is 1,000, right? So we're gonna do 1,000 times 12. Then I have minus 12K, so I'm spending $1,000 a month, and that leaves me with 2,000 extra to buy whatever the hell I want, right? Because things are gonna come up, you're gonna want other things. You're like, and this is like an extreme version, but you still have a reserve of $2,000 to spend on whatever you want. Because as long as you're investing half your income, you can spend whatever money you want. But just think about it, guys. Things like housing can be lowered. You get roommates, you spend less on housing. You get more roommates, you spend even less on housing. One of my buddies, he house hacks. He lives in a house with like 5 people, lives in California, and spending $300 a month on rent in California. It's insane. But the reason why he's doing that is because he's doing this. He's living on half his income, lowering his bills, and putting all that extra money into investments. Because, guys, we're not even talking about the compound value. Because what you can do is with this money that you've been investing, you can either put it in an index fund, a high yield savings account. You're making anywhere from an average of 5 to 10% on your money per year. So while you're putting this money away, you're also getting paid from this money. So you're getting cash every single month, and this is not including any business. You do this literally for 10 years, and you're gonna have, what is that? Just with the $25,000 alone that you're living on half of your income, you're gonna have in 10 years, 25,000 times 10, 250,000. I don't know, I didn't need a calculator for that. But you're gonna have $250,000 in just 10 years. And that's not including compound growth, compound interest. Because your money grows faster. Your money makes more money the older it gets. And this is the conventional path. And now I'm gonna show you what I'm kind of doing now. So this is option A, this is the formal path if you wanna just get rich quick. Well, let's say get rich slow. This is the boring path. You basically go to college, or you can even you don't have to go to college, you can get a trade. If you get a trade, you're probably gonna be making about 50 grand a year. And no matter what, live on half of your income. It doesn't matter if you're making 50,000, it doesn't matter if you're making 100,000. Live on half your income. The more money you can invest, the better. Everyone should be shooting for, everyone that's young should be trying to invest at least 50% of their income. I do that now. And guys, I started doing it recently, like the past couple months, and my God, my net worth has never skyrocketed so quickly. Because at the end of the year, when I did my tax return, I was disgusted. I'm like, how is it that I made this much money this year and I have none of it in my bank account? That's what woke me up. And that's when I realized it's time to start investing more, because this little 10% is not enough. The place I want to be, 10% is not enough. Okay, now we get into option B. Option B is what I think is the best path, in all honesty. It's because it's the quick path. It's definitely the hardest, but it is the best. But if it was hard, it wouldn't be worth doing. So we have option B, okay? Option B is where you, after graduating high school, it's still the same. So if you're still in high school, continue to work. So continue to make money while you're in, high school. And then invest that money into the markets. That says market, and that's supposed to be a stock. I'm not an artist. So continue to make money, invest in the market if you're still in high school. From there, instead of going to college, start to take this money and invest into high income skills. Actually, no, I was wrong. This is actually what we do. Okay, so once you graduate high school, you started working. You've been putting that money away. Either what you could do is, instead of putting the money in the stock market, you could invest it into things like books, courses, etc., coaching, into things that are related to business, things that are gonna make you more money. Personally, what I do is 50-50. I put 25% of my money in the market, the other 25% into like self-development education. So this is what you can do. From here, in high school, you're working like 20 hours a week because you can't work a lot because you're a kid. And this is what I would do. As soon as you graduate, or as soon as you have the chance, work 80 hours a week. Oh my God, Aaron, 80 hours a week is a lot. No, it's not. Hear me out, okay? This is actually exactly what I did. So I'm not making this stuff up. This is all stuff that I've done. In the summer, I worked 80 hours a week for 4 months, just making minimum wage. So now what you do is, if you can do it even longer, even better. So 80 hours times, times 4, 320, times 15. I made about $4,800. This is not including tax. $4,800 per month, and then you multiply that by 4. By the end of summer, you make about $19,000. So now what you do is, after you do this for like 4 months, you have $19,000 after tax, but you really have like $15,000. So you made $15,000 in 4 months. If you could do that for the year, for an entire year, I'm not gonna say, I could not imagine doing that for an entire year, but I know of people that have done it. They're absolutely insane. But by the end of the year, you would have made $45,000 with no education. That's pretty good. So that's $45K by the end of the year. So now what you do is, you can either, what I recommend is just do it for like 4 months, something like that. You take this money and invest it into high income skills. So you have high income skills. Or what you could do is just go straight to that. So it's kind of complicated. At this point, things can branch off in many places. But this is what you can do, okay? So you go get the money to then invest it in high income skills. After you have, because these courses are probably like at least $10,000 from my experience, average. So you're spending about $10,000 on, like books, courses, coaching. Then from there, you then implement the stuff that they teach you. And then from the money you make from doing that, it's just a loop. So first thing is, no matter what, you have to get capital somehow. You can do it with the 80-hour work week. You can do it by asking friends. Just figure out some way to get capital. No matter what, you want to take the money you make and then invest it into high income skills. Invest in high income skills, and then from there, it's just a cycle. You make money, you put in high income skills, you make more money, put in more high income skills. You keep on increasing your skill set. Because what happens is, when you keep on increasing your skill set, guess what, guys? You become more valuable to the marketplace. When you become more valuable to the marketplace, you demand a higher price. And what ends up happening is, The traditional path, in 4 years, you'd have 60 grand in investments after like just getting out of college, versus if you were to, 30,000, I believe, yeah, because you have 20 less there, so about 30,000. But this, you can be making 30,000 a month, and I know what I'm saying sounds crazy, but it isn't, because this is exactly what I would do. So either, guys, this right here is how you make the money. I never said how you had to do it. Personally, what I would do is when it comes to making the money, is as soon as I have the opportunity, get into sales. Sales is the best thing since sliced bread, because there's nothing on planet Earth I know that you can do that's like sales. You can have absolutely zero starting up capital. You join a company that already has training. They teach you what to do. They put you with people that are already experienced. So you're getting put with people that are already making crazy amounts of money. And if the company doesn't have opportunity for you to grow, then don't go there. But this is exactly what I'm doing now. I worked my 80-hour work week last summer. I took that money, I invested in the coaching programs, and then from there, I then invested all the money I made from my business. And guess what? I invested it back into myself and just learned more and more and more and more. So my bank account may not be reflecting my skill set, but my skills have drastically increased because I've learned so much. So then what I'm doing currently right now is, I'm at this point. Before I was working at Chipotle, I'm now working in solar sales. So I now sell solar panels. And every time I make a sale, I'm making anywhere from a $2,000 to $4,000 commission. And then what do I do with that money? I'm investing it back into courses in books to, guess what, become better at sales. And guess what happens? I then have more of that money, and then it goes right back into me making more money, and I just invest more and more. And then as I'm doing this, I am also putting money into a high yield savings account and investing into the S&P 500. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you should do this. I'm just telling you this is what I'm doing. And I guarantee it's gonna work, because every single year I've been doubling my income, and I'm currently like 19 years old. So guys, in short, you have two options. Both are viable. Option B is definitely better, but it is definitely 10 times harder, without doubt. But that's why you have an advantage, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. Option A, you go to school, continue to work in high school. Like if you're assuming you're in high school, continue to work, just put your money away. Either get a trade or go to college, right? And work in college at least 20 hours a week. That's more than doable. Try to invest your money as much as you can. Then you go off into your career making like $50,000 a year. That's entry level with a degree. Do that for 10 years and then live off half your income. By the time you're done, you'll be 30 years old and you'll be financially free for the rest of your life. Then you can, get the house of your dreams, but do not buy anything unless you can buy it with your assets. Because at this point, if once you get to the 10-year mark, you're at least $250,000, by the time you're 30, and that money is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's how you become financially free the traditional path. Option B, which is personally what I think is the better route, and is what I'm currently doing now. I'll explain a little later. Option B is, after getting work in high school, after you graduate high school, do whatever you need to do to get a lump sum of cash, take that money, and invest it into skills that are gonna make you more money. Whether it be sales, marketing, leadership, communication, some form of skill, something that is like some tangible skill. It can be anything. Then from there, the money you make from that high income skill, you then take that money and put it back in your education, non-stop loop. And then all you're doing is you take a small percentage of your money that you're making and put it to the side, just so in case if for some reason, things don't end up working out, you'll still have you'll still have some investments. So now what I'm doing now is this. I'm doing a combination of both, which I guess you can say option C. So option C is, I am now in college, right? In my summers, I do sales. So I'm still getting the skill set. I'm still making the money of sales, but I'm not getting the true fruits because I'm not going all in yet. So then from there, taking that money, investing it into my skill set, improving it, and then as soon as I come back to college, I just put all that skill and money back into my business, and it's a never non-stop loop. And all I'm doing is I'm also taking the time to put money into my investment accounts. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But guys, if you guys are young, you guys need to be aware of this, because it's the truth. Now is the time to do things that are hard. Because the older you get, the harder it gets. The older you get, you have more responsibility and you become less flexible. We all know some person that is financially in ruins, and it's simply because they made bad decisions while they were young. Guys, if you are young, hell, even if you're old, it's never too late to change. Now is the time to do things that are hard, because you're only gonna get older, and the older you get, the harder it is to change. You ever heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? That partially has truth to it. So in short, guys, if there's something that you're afraid of doing, because if you think it's gonna be hard, that's probably a sign that you need to do it. Sales, door-to-door sales, truth be told, I don't like it. I hate it. But guess what? I lie to myself so much that I love it. I think about it 24/7. And guess what? I'm not where I want to be yet in sales, but I'm telling you, it has already rewarded me in so many ways that are way beyond money. And that's what I'm saying, guys. For nothing less, just take the journey. Take the first step. As cliche as it sounds, it's the truth. Because you're going to be so proud of yourself just for the starting. And I promise you, if you stick with it, it will work out. I've never seen anyone go all in on anything and fail, because it's not possible. You can't go all in and fail. Because guess what happens? When someone thinks they go all in and they fail for the first time, and the second time, the third time, the fifth time, the sixth time, the eighth time, the 100th time, what do? They quit. But what does the winner do? He never quits. And guess what? It may be the 200th time. But guess what? He does win eventually. And I'd rather win eventually than not win at all. So if you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend, because I guarantee you it's going to change a lot of lives. I'm not preaching something I've never done myself. I'm doing this right now as we speak. And I guarantee you, and when you see a 10-year transformation and I have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, you're going to know exactly how I did it. And this is how. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please, really, share this with somebody. I promise it's going to change your life. I wish someone would have told me this when I was a freshman in high school. I would have a lot more money. But hey, you live and you learn. I'll see you on the next one. My bad, before I go, make sure you watch this video here. I'm gonna teach you about how I invest my money. I'm gonna talk about high yield savings accounts, and I'm gonna talk about things like index funds. So if that sounds interesting to you, watch this video here or here. See you.